Welcome to the Furthermore podcast.
Hey folks, you won't want to miss this. Davina Etwaroo. Davina, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Mudit. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I want to let everyone know that Davina and we just did a meditation before signing on tonight, and that was very, very helpful. Thank you, Davina. That helped me really level everything out.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Yes. So Davina, why don't you tell us about what you do, what your artistry is, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, the art form that I do, it's called Bharatanatyam. For those of you viewing this, it's one of the many classical dance forms from India. I actually started this a bit haphazardly at the age of 10, right here in Maryland. I was born and raised in Maryland. I spent my childhood pretty much reading books, riding bikes, playing basketball, climbing trees. And then there was a point where my older sister kind of stumbled upon an Indian dance class, which she and her friend thought was a Bollywood class. They didn't realize that it was something really hardcore classical dance class.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 2 years of her being in it, the teacher asked if myself and my other younger sister would like to be a part of it. And we just casually were like, yeah, sure, we don't have anything major going on. Let's give it a try. And we did. And so it pretty much took off from there.
Excellent. Very cool. Yeah, I relate to the upbringing of kind of just doing whatever in the cul-de-sac in the neighborhood, climbing trees, playing basketball. Then soccer became a thing for me, and then from now it's comedy. So that's really cool. Could you talk about your cultural background and upbringing and how that kind of impacted your art and your journey and today as well?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I was born and raised in Maryland. My parents are actually from Guyana, South America, and our ancestry is from India. So starting with the Indian ancestry, someone a long time ago said to me that the memories of our ancestors is in our DNA. And maybe there's no research to back that up, I don't know, but that is something that I've kind of felt. I could kind of feel it in my bones, if you will. Sometimes in class, sometimes on stage, while I'm dancing, I have these almost surreal moments of something kind of along the lines of deja vu, where it just feels so right, and it just feels as though it's something that I've maybe done in a past life or something. I know it sounds a little out there, but that's the feeling that I've gotten. In terms of the Guyanese aspect of myself, I think that has helped me to really have a passion about it, an eagerness to learn, which a lot of my peers, for example, not all, but some of my friends who are dancers directly from India, a lot of them, while they were growing up, especially in their teenage years, felt like, oh, this classical art form, it's this boring thing that my parents are into, But for me, it's not something that my parents ever knew about in their years growing up. Only coming to Maryland and us finding this local teacher, that's how my family came to know about Bharatanatyam. So I never viewed it as something boring or something that my parents are into. It was something that me and my sisters are into. And so I always viewed it as something cool, something interesting, something that I'm excited about. So I think that's how also being Guyanese has, added to my journey. And then lastly, being an American, what I've come to realize, especially in the more recent years, is or something that I attribute to being American is my ability to think for myself, to think outside the box, and to have the confidence to come right out and share my thoughts, even if those ideas may be radical. Like, for example, me saying that, our ancestors' memories are coded in our DNAs or something. I don't know that that's true, but I have the nerve to come out and say that, hey, I think there might be something to that based on how I feel.
Wonderful. I really hope to find a moment where I can get in touch with my roots on a deeper and deeper level. I'm traversing through a variety of art forms. The big one these days is for me comedy. And I'm getting in touch with maybe the experience of being an Indian American growing up in this kind of Western culture. But I would love to, get in touch with my family's roots and the more historical sacred culture. And I think that's very eloquent how you put it. How for you it is something very genuine, very very deeply rooted that you are passionate about from start and today as well. So this is very inspiring stuff. I've personally had to pivot and adjust with the pandemic and its implications. For example, comedy is usually something that's done in person with a live audience, and I've pivoted online. How has the pandemic affected you personally, and also with your art form?
Honestly, it's done wonders for me. Of course, I do have that deeper empathy for all those who've been negatively impacted by COVID-19. But to be very honest, since the virus hit and since, we've all been under a sort of a lockdown of sorts, it's given me the time and space to do a lot of self-reflection, to do a lot of learning, largely online. I would say probably 100% online,
Mm-hmm.
taking lots of webinars and online courses on a variety of topics that I otherwise may not have carved out the time to do. And as everything shifted online, it forced my dance classes that I teach online anyway, whether I like it or not. It's like we've got to get online at this point.
Mm.
And that was a very eye-opening moment for me because, at least in the Bharatanatyam world, teaching online has somewhat, it's been more or less frowned upon, especially by our elders, by our gurus. And
Right.
so I've always been hesitant to try anything of that sort because, I don't want to do something that is considered taboo or incorrect or whatever it may be. So now I'm in this position where I kind of have no choice, right?
Right.
And it had its pros. I mean, of course, it has its cons, especially something like dance. But
Mm-hmm.
I found that the students were a lot more focused. There was less chit chat and that kind of thing. I still feel like we're using our time much more efficiently because, it's like every second counts when you're online. There's no like water break and bathroom break. And I mean, maybe if it's an emergency, but the students know, like even the youngest ones know that, okay, there's not going to be a water break. We're really zoned in. We're really focused. We're getting it done. And so that's definitely a pro. I've also used the fact that we're already looking at a screen to show them little clips of dancers, of both like professional dancers as well as young dancers their age in the world, so that they can see what others are doing out there in our field, what the expectations are and what the quality is out there,
Excellent.
So yeah, so it's definitely helped my students a lot, and it's helped me a lot in terms of my personal growth.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think this sounds like a really good system you have going on to keep your students engaged and focused. I think for me, my biggest struggle with this pandemic is with the excess amount of space and time where sometimes I may be trapped in my own thoughts or stuck in a rut. Putting like a structure and discipline to my day has helped a lot. And so I wanted to ask you about a couple of things. One, maybe your daily routine in terms of staying on top of things and motivated. And two is, again, I really appreciated the meditation we did before this. If you could talk about meditation, so daily routine and meditation, how you utilize those.
Absolutely, yeah. So in my mornings, as best as possible, you already know parts of this, so I make it a point to make my bed. And that, as you already know, Mudit, but just for the just for the viewers here, it really helps you set the tone for the rest of your day, that you've already accomplished something. You're already being productive. It gives you this sense of tidiness, of organization. So now you can go through your day on that same momentum, using that same momentum of getting things done. And then even better, at the end of the day, you come back and your bed is made. You feel kind of on top of the world, like, I've got my shit together pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's something that's kind of key for me, getting some type of movement in. I've found, for myself, my own body type, that getting light exercise works for me. So maybe yoga, maybe a walk. There was a period of time this year that I was doing like HIIT workouts and such, which was amazing. I felt great, but then I got to a point where I was feeling drained. So I toned it down a little bit.
Oh.
I'm a matcha tea drinker. So matcha is my go-to in the mornings. It's got that little bit of caffeine, but not too much. It kind of gives you a sense of focus and calm at the same time.
Yeah.
So those are some of the key components of my morning routine. But probably more importantly is the intention that I'm setting for the day. I definitely take a moment. Sometimes it's before I get out of bed where I'm just like, what do I want to feel today? Mm. It's not just what do I want to do today, because your agenda, your to-do list is already there, but it's what do I want to get out of this day? What do I want to bring to this day? What do I want to make happen? And sometimes, like, for example, it might be that I want to show up for my students in the best way possible, in a way that is loving and encouraging and supportive. Or it might be that I want to learn about a certain topic as much as possible today. Or it might be that, I was low energy yesterday and I just want to boost up my energy today and do whatever I need to do to get in a high vibration. So that intention setting right in the morning has been really key for me. You did ask, the second part of your question was about meditation. So a lot of the experts on meditation will suggest having a particular place and a particular time of day and or duration of the meditation. I'm sure they're right. But for me, given like my crazy schedule, being just busy and needing different things at different times, I will squeeze in meditations at different times of the day as needed, and different types of meditation depending on my needs. Like, for example, we just took like 1 minute or 2 minutes, whatever it was, before this podcast to center ourselves. We needed that, So that's one example. Or just before anything, I'll take a minute or two. If I feel like I have a longer period of time in the morning, the evening, whatever it may be, I'll take, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, whatever, however much time I have, and sit and do more of a full-fledged meditation. That's kind of where I'm trying to carve out the time to go a little deeper and that kind of thing. So I'm a big believer in having flexibility in your daily structure and what it is that you're doing, because the moment we get too rigid, then we start getting hard on ourselves that, oh, I missed a day or whatever. And then we get caught up. We feel bad about ourselves. We feel guilty. We give up on the whole plan. That's really not the way. That's not sustainable. So
Definitely, yes. To me, flexibility is key to staying on top of the moving parts of comedy and the opportunities and the gigs and the rehearsals. And thank you again for viewers that are curious. Davina is a great mentor of mine. I enrolled in her course for developing artists, and she was super helpful. And so I was wondering if you'd like to speak to that and perhaps future plans. I have Davina's social media handle up here, which is Amped Up Artist. And again, I've grown so much from your course. Could you maybe talk about that and maybe the direction of that moving forward and what viewers may look forward to perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. So Amped Up Artist is one of the gems that came out of COVID-19 for me because I saw that the world is moving in an online direction. And there's all of these kinds of things I think about every single day when it comes to mindset and motivation. And over the years, I've interacted with so many different kinds of artists, musicians, poets, comedians, photographers, dancers, you name it. I've observed a lot of them along their journey, and a lot of them have shared their struggles with me too, with going through periods of depression or doubts or fears about their art, whether they should continue to pursue it or not. And so through my conversations with them, seeing how they've handled things, and through a lot of my own learnings through books and podcasts and YouTube videos, all the content that I've been consuming, I've come up with this method. I guess I'll just announce it here, the power method, which if you sign up for my course, you'll be privy to. Mudit's gone through it. But pretty much for any artist, it teaches you how to continuously generate motivation from within, how to stay motivated, keep that momentum going using the power method. So this is something that I just launched. Mudit and a few others were a part of the first session. It's a 5-week online course right here on Zoom. And so I'm expecting the next session to be around October, maybe starting around the end of September, going into October. So enrollments will be happening throughout September. And hopefully at a later date, don't quote me, but I'm thinking about possibly putting it all into a book format and publishing it as a book, and perhaps creating an app. I don't know anything about apps, but I'm sure I can figure it out some way, somehow, to launch the Amped Up Artist app.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. Definitely look at Davina's coursework. The Amped Up Artist course has propelled me in phenomenal directions. I feel energized, I feel creative, I feel motivated. And I will put Davina's information in the captions with the social media handles and the websites. Is there anything you'd like to share for the your Bharatanatyam classes? Maybe who that may be geared for, and do you have corresponding information for that as well?
Yeah. So the name of what is my dance school, it's the nuts and bolts of the business side of it are still in the works. I've actually been teaching for, I want to say, something like 16-ish years now. The name of it is Adi. Currently I have a Facebook page, and soon I'll be rolling out the website. So a little bit more about my journey in Bharatanatyam is that, as you know, I started when I was 10. And right from a young age, my first teacher, Rani David, she gave me tons of opportunities to perform. By the age of 16, she had me teaching the beginner and what we call the Madhyam, the middle level course in her school right here in Maryland, choreographing. So that was kind of something that took off really quickly at an early age. And then I studied abroad in Fiji. I spent 5 months in Fiji at the age of 19, and I was asked to dance with a company there. And so I was a part of that. I actually choreographed a piece and taught a piece to the company, which we performed as a part of a production there. And when I got back at the age of 20, at that point, that's when students of my own started coming directly to me for private lessons. Yeah, so it kind of took off from there. I typically have around 10 or so students at any given time. And right now I'm still in the process of getting all the business side of it more in order.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes, I will certainly populate the my YouTube caption as well, and that can be updated over time. So I'm also inspired by Davina's ability to pursue multiple projects and businesses. That is so awesome. I aspire for that level of engagement. Well, thank you so much, Davina. Any last words of wisdom or advice or messages you'd like to convey to our viewers?
Yeah, on an ending note, I would like to say that whenever you fall off that wagon, whatever it may be, your diet, your exercise, your meditation practice, your whatever it is that you want to keep up, whenever you fall off, just get back on. The next day is a new day. You can start over, start fresh. Don't beat yourself up about it. And thank you so much, Mudit, for having me on the show today.
Thank you, Davina. Huge pleasure.